comfortably zoned with the Zigzag Man in Alameda, California, pushing on the doors of life marked pull and fighting the unholy trinity as we go. Big business, organized religion, and government.
We are back. Canna Chat in the Zone. I'm Ralph Tyko. I'm here with Rich Moskowitz. How are you, Rich? You got a bunch of stuff going.
I'm doing great. Thanks, Ralph. How are you?
Yeah, could not be better. And I'm so proud of you that you followed through with getting your project on the ballot. And if you will bring us up to date, for those of you who haven't heard, start from the beginning. How did this come to be, if you would?
Sure. So just to correct you, we're not on the ballot, but we have made an incredible amount of progress, and you'll see us out there in the community. So as you suggested from the beginning, last year, the City of Alameda passed medical cannabis regulations allowing for sales and other cannabis businesses to be located in Alameda.
For medical purposes.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, in that process, as we advocated for adult use purposes, four of the five city council refused to even have that discussion. So we moved on, as people do, to make progress, and the city eventually passed that medical regulation. And they are currently now in the proposal process, so selecting businesses to award those licenses to. So that's phenomenal. Now, at the beginning of this year, a few of us started a neighborhood group called Alameda Cannabis Times on Facebook, and we were concerned that 68% of Alamedans expressed their will saying yes to cannabis in statewide election for Proposition 64, and here we are, the city council refused to discuss it. So what we got together and did was we decided that the next step is to go directly to the people as allotted by the law. So we wrote a notice of intent to the city that we wanted to collect signatures. This is the first step in the process. Then we also wrote what we wanted changed in the law. I actually went and crafted a law from scratch, or the parts that needed to be amended from scratch. And now in the process, we have the opportunity over these 6 months, that's the state-given time frame, to collect basically 5,000 signatures from registered voters in Alameda. And if we do that, then the city has three options. They could put it to a vote of the people. They could do that in one of two ways based on time frame. Or they can just go ahead and say, we would like to adopt adult use into our current regulation. So it's not on the ballot in November, nor will it be. That time frame is not with this process. But we will be out there. And most excitingly, Ralph, we will have a booth this weekend at the Island Jam on Webster, sponsored by the education group we created last year, ASCA. And we'll be out there as Alameda Cannabis Times collecting signatures for the petition, announcing and explaining what all the details are, and explaining it to the community, and also seeking any other volunteers who want to join the team.
Wow. You've come a long way, Rich Moskowitz. Nice job. Really and truthfully, I know what goes into change when it comes to government. And we're not just talking city government, state government, federal government. Change is very slow in coming. And you had a timeline. You've got to get this the signatures in. What date do you have to have them in by?
So the state process calls for a 180-day period maximum. So give or take, I haven't been actually counted it out, but our notice of intent was published in the Alameda Journal the first Friday of June. I believe that was the June 1st. So without counting it out with the different months, basically we're looking at this as December 1 kind of cutoff.
Wow.
And it might vary a day or two on either side, as I say.
And you've got a team in place. Who are some of your team members that are really supportive and you'd like to credit with helping you the most?
We have a core team of 14 people currently in place, and it would take a lot of time to list out each of them, so I would suggest this. Come on down and meet the team this weekend. Whether you're going to sign the petition or you want to discuss why you don't want to sign the petition, but like you say, Ralph, this is a team of fellow Alamedans, and the group, of course, represents hundreds and hundreds of people on Facebook, but this is a core of fellow Alamedans who are coming out and knocking on doors and standing downtown, and part of our strategy is not to stand outside a Safeway. We do not kind of believe in that. That doesn't seem like a very Alamedan thing to do as people are going to try and get their groceries. So we're going to be at events like this. We're going to have people host other events. We're also going to have house parties. But I would say come on down, meet your neighbors, meet the team, and that would probably be a great way because, to be honest, Rob, it's 14 people minimum, but I'd probably be forgetting to on that.
Okay. I just thought you might want to thank someone that helped support you right from the beginning. That's all. And
tell you what, I will take you up on that and say, next podcast, why don't we start there?
Oh, sounds terrific. That sounds terrific. Hey, I'll tell you what, not only will I take you up on your invitation to come down on Webster Street this weekend, I'll bring my digital mic and I'll get some reaction from some folks, and we'll try to get this thing going real big.
That'll be great.
Beautiful.
We'll be sending out press release tomorrow to all the local major news organizations as well as some of the larger area organizations. So spreading the word far and wide and to everybody else in podcast land, that's phenomenal. Thank you.
I'm just curious who you're using to send out press releases to. Without that extra two at the end.
I was going to say that's one of those team of dedicated Alamedans. In this case, I'll just call him out by name, Mitchell Colbert.
Okay.
Greatest thanks to him and his writing abilities.
Beautiful. Rich, great thanks to you because you're a hero along these lines. This is something that needs to be gotten done. There are people that don't have access to legal cannabis. It took us years and years to get it legal, and the gall of tight-ass city council members to refuse to give in to 68% of the people in Alameda who voted for legalization. It's enough that they have to pay taxes on what they buy, but at least give them the opportunity not to have to go to the black market, which is what the whole legalization was trying to eliminate in essence, or incorporate it, whereas they wouldn't have to be black market, and B, not make it available in the city where they have to go into Oakland or whatever. It's just outrageous, and you recognized it from the start and didn't just talk about it, you did something about it. So I'm proud of you.
Thanks, Ralph. It's funny, the way you spoke about our points was incredibly elegant. We have a 4-point policy of why Alameda Cannabis Times was created, and more specifically why the 2018 Alameda Citizens Responsible Adult Use Cannabis Initiative was written. And we say it this way. We say it's about social equality. After all, if you rent your apartment and you're not medically necessitated, then you are a criminal. You have no place to buy and or smoke, including your home. So social equality.
Mm-hmm.
We say the second reason is traffic mitigation. How many people are going to Harborside, and that's 2 trips and a half an hour over and back. If you've ever been on Park Street on certain days, you'll have an idea why traffic.
You could walk fast. You could walk faster, and believe me, it's a nice, pleasant walk down the water. That's not the point. The point is there are people that can't make that walk, or they can't even make the drive. By the way, some people don't have cars.
And then the other 2 reasons, and yes, very much so, and such on that. And then the other 2 reasons we say, you also now, it's revenue generation via taxation. And lastly, and perhaps most importantly, ensuring the city does not continue to ignore the expressed will of the people. So those are our 4 reasons why we did this. And we can only hope that the city sees what we're doing, understands what they're doing. They certainly have been fully notified by the clerk's office to the council. And honestly, Ralph, my most sincere hope is the city, we get these signatures and the city says, hey, that's great. You know what? We kind of missed the boat on that, and this is a very simple way for us to do it. And the whole purpose of the initiative we crafted in one simple sentence was, it removes the word medicinal from the current law. It changes nothing else in the law, except it removes the word medicinal, thereby allowing the same people who eventually will get permits in Alameda to do the exact same thing the city deemed already was appropriate for medical people. So we're just seeking the same treatment, and we're not seeking to redo anything the city did other than simply remove a word, and thereby making it fair for all Alameda.
You know, and the truth of the matter, all cannabis is medicinal. Across the board. And if you look at it from that standpoint, you know, they could just take the word out of the law themselves if they were prone to do it. So that I'm thinking, well, when they get the signatures, are they the kind of people that are going to go, oh, we were wrong, and suddenly we're gonna support the people and give the people's will? Would they have to give out all that under the table money that they collected from the medical, the big farms and what have you? How much money do you suppose they have to give out to not compete, not have marijuana compete for themselves? And I would like to call the Attorney General in to follow the money, to follow these council members' accounts and see what came in, because their voting not to support the people's way was criminal. And
so let's break that down into 2 pieces for you. So the first piece is your concern about money in general, right? So I would say that is available to you and any Alameda citizen whatsoever right on the city's website. You just click through, and there's a form that every person has to file in the state. In fact, if this ballot initiative passes and we become a committee, we'll file the same form ourselves by law. It's called a 460, and what that is every donation above $99, and every donation that is not cash, you can't take any donation above $99 in cash in California, has to be reported to the California Elections Committee and such, and that's via what's known as a Form 460. So everyone, all our current politicians and all the groups in Alameda who can legally collect money, everyone files a Form 460, and the city has a page on their website that you can click through and look at who gave what to whom. So that's your first concern, and that, I think, is a wonderful aspect of government, that with the Internet, we just sit in our homes and we can go, oh, fire gave this, police gave this, real estate gave this, person A, rich person B, whatever. That's available to every citizen via the city's website, which is phenomenal. On your second point about money in cannabis, I don't think that personally has played into any of this. I think personally a couple of things have happened. One, this was an overwhelming new industry where the city had to act quickly, and they, to some degree, heard the voice of the people, and they acted. As with any time a government acts quickly and lacks proper input to the process, they wind up with, at best, a muddled, inefficient process. That's what's happening in Alameda. We had 2 dispensary permits available. We had 5 people apply, 3 in the Park Street area, 2 in the Webster Street area. The 3 in the Park Street area all failed to meet the city-sponsored requirements, which they were well aware of. Very odd, and we can talk about that another time. The 2 on Webster are currently in the RFP process, and the city will make a decision. So that worked out okay. However, in the management of this LOI RFP process, there was other, what I'll just call irregularities, and I spoke to City Council publicly about this last week at the council meeting. Any Alamedan can go and look at that online. Last week's video is always posted. So as it comes to money influencing cannabis, I really don't see that so far in Alameda. What I see is a mismanaged process and to some degree, and unfortunately, the ignoring of the will of the people as expressed, as we talked about. So from Alameda Cannabis Times' perspective and from my perspective, we wanted to go ahead and fix the easy thing. So the easy thing is adult use is illegal in California, and it's up to a city to allow it or not. And the people of the city overwhelmingly voted for adult use, not necessarily for sales or anything else in this town. This is a statewide vote. But clearly, they should be following the will of the people as elected representatives. Now, if the city can receive our signatures, and that would be equate to about, 80,000 people, 5,000 signatures, somewhere about 60% of the, somewhere around, 7% of the population, 6-7%. I would think that the city would, I would hope the city would adopt it as a regulation, but to be honest, with 7% of the people signing a document, if I were a city leader, I would say, okay, well, let's put it forward to a vote then. Clearly the people wanted to vote about this, and this way, that's what's happening. And that's what we're working towards. And when we get the correct amount of signatures, and then the city will ask for a financial impact statement of what will happen, and the city government will prepare that, and we'll be like, well, maybe you'll understand that in California, the medicinal market continues to go down about 7 to 10% a month, and the market continues to go up. So, of course, the city would stand to make more money because there's more recreational interest than just medicinal needs. Mm-hmm. And combined with both, that's the revenue from both. So it's my hope that the city, at the very least, will receive our signatures, do their impact statement. My wish is they accept it. My expectation is that they'll say, let's put it out to the people and let the people decide, because this is America and this is what we want. Our voices to be heard.
Okay. It's a little thing, Rich, but I would have liked to see at least one dispensary in the Park Street area, and just looks better than they put them all on the West End.
Right. There'll only be one on Webster, but the reason there's not one on Park Street, and this is what I requested the city. So the time frame to submit your applications, and 3 companies did. They all failed, and then the time frame closed. So the gist of my remarks to the city last week was that over my 3 decades of running businesses, when I've put out an RFP, a request for proposal, seeking a service or a provider, and I didn't get satisfactory pricing or satisfactory organization, then I opened up the process to be not time limited. So my conversation with the council last week publicly was requesting for them to reopen the LOI RFP process without any time frames and to keep it open until such time that our allotted spots are all filled. So
very good.
So they should reopen this process. They allotted one dispensary for the Park Street corridor, and because basically, it might not be 100% accurate, but as I understand it, in the time frame when businesses were submitting their application, another business that's considered a sensitive site opened up, and therefore the previous 1,000-foot border was violated by all three businesses. So the other point I made to the city last week in my comments is the state law is 600 feet from sensitive sites. In Alameda, we pushed for 600 feet, and some groups in the community pushed for 1,000 feet, and the city went with 1,000 feet. So the city has a very expanded list of sensitive sites, so I urge the city to follow the state guideline of sensitive sites, basically schools and daycare, that kind of thing. And at the same time, I urge the city to find a middle-of-the-road solution, such as an 800-foot boundary instead of 1,000 and instead of 600. This way, both sides their needs have been addressed, as well as potential businesses who want to come to Alameda. When you speak to the city council in the first 5 minutes for a non-agenda item, they can't speak back to you. It just allows you to express your opinion.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if there's going to be any movement on this, but I certainly think both of those are extraordinarily sane ideas of a rolling RFP, not date limited, and an 800-foot adaptation versus 1,000. Because, as you say, we should have a dispensary in the Parkside servicing the East End and Bay Farm residents.
Well, if you're talking about just traffic alone, you got a lot of traffic going between, down Lincoln, down to Santa Clara, down Eagle, all those streets. You don't want to increase it.
Exactly. If you're 3 blocks from Park Street, will you take a bicycle to Webster, or will you take your car?
Right.
I'm a pretty healthy guy. Hate to say it, but in that scenario, I'd probably drive.
Especially if time is of essence, and if there are people with time on their hands, they can walk, but there are people that have a life. There are drugstores on both sides of town. There are bars on both sides of town.
And most importantly, the law allows for a dispensary in the Park Street.
Oh, I thought you said most importantly there are hookers on both sides of town. But
no, I would never say that. I said the law. That's not even my accent. You're funny.
I know. That's I wouldn't say that either if I didn't have a radio show to say it on. If you think about it. Sometimes my humor offends. Let it be. Let it be. Okay. Just the way it is. What can I say? What can I tell you? I'm an old man. Old people are entitled to stuff. What George Carlin say about the advantage of being old? Everything's okay, Georgie. You just sit there. We'll get you slippers. Don't worry about it. If you're tired, take a nap. All right. Richard, I will see you this weekend, and I'll bring my digital mic, and we'll get some of your comrades to talk and tell the folks what it means to them just to get it right. I think that's all. That's what your mentality is, isn't it, Rich? Just so it's correct, just so it flows. And
so that it's correct, that it's fair, that it's equitable, and that it serves the needs of all Alamedans, as well as provides revenue for the city of Alameda.
Untold revenue that will only increase over the years as the educational part of what we're all about takes effect. We're not doing, this isn't like we're sneaking, it's marijuana, we're sneaking it through and all this. No, it's a new day and age. First of all, it's cannabis, not marijuana. Marijuana seems to be out of vogue, the word itself. But notwithstanding that, we have nothing to sneak. It's all legal and should be treated that way for everybody, not just those with real and or trumped up medical problems just to get it, to get the card. Not to say that there aren't people that get the card legitimately, but there are a lot of folks that in the past took advantage of the system. I don't think that's so true anymore. I think things have changed. It takes more to qualify for a medical card than it did once before. Am I correct?
Well, I think what you may be referring to is the fact of what's called the MMIC, which is the state card issued by the county. And so if you compare that process with paying $29 on your iPhone and doing a quick phone consultation, yeah, it's a lot more difficult.
Yeah.
The good news is, and the one thing people talk about this issue a lot, about what I like to refer to as the teledocs or the telemedicine docs of the years past. But you have to remember, in the years past, if you were a law-abiding citizen and you wanted to consume cannabis in a legal manner, and as you referenced earlier, you think all cannabis is medicine. So if you wanted to do that, the only pathway available to you was to go to your doctor, and if you didn't feel comfortable going to your personal doctor, then these teledocs was your vehicle. Now that some common sense has come to the state of California, and the people of California said marijuana is an intoxicant and should therefore be regulated as such, but it is not a drug, and it is not a crime. So now these people who have always used cannabis as for health reasons, for severe reasons. I myself am a 3-year-old medically necessitated patient. However, I have been consuming cannabis most of my life. So the people who are medically necessitated now have a little bit more of a process to go through. However, they also don't pay the same taxes that a recreational user does. So in some way, the state has started to understand that this plant can be the proverbial glass of wine after work, or this plant could be, the thing that gets you off opioids or prevents a hospitalization. And each case is different and therefore should be treated as such. So in the long run, are we going to see changes? Yes, but I think that is still to be figured out. We've seen models in the United States that have played out in different ways, and I think that is yet another challenge the state of California has when it comes to legalizing, well, let's see, a 20-year-old gray industry, a 50-year-old or more black market industry, and what is commonly referred to as at least an $8 or $10 billion market. So this will be yet another challenge for the state of California, who has already set for themselves a very large set of challenges.
Beautiful. And thank you for keeping up with it. For us, it's Canna Chat in the Zone. I'm Ralph Tyko. I'm with Rich Moskowitz, who's going to never have to buy another J in the city of Alameda for as long as he lives. After this, you go anywhere. It's Rich Moskowitz. Light up. Hey, light up. It's legal. I don't think it's quite like that.
You're on private property, not in private.
Right, exactly. Exactly. Well, come over, spend porch time. I got private property for you, Rich.
Fantastic. I'll look forward to it, Ralph. Thank you.
All right. Be well if you're listening out there and enjoying it in any way. please do me a favor. Box up some gently used children's books or some new children's books and take them down to the Head Start program. Million Reasons Why. We'll talk to you next time about those reasons. Thank you. Be well, everybody. Be well, Rich. Adios.